I want to say a few words about the big confusion that happens with meditation. People oftentimes think that when they meditate, their mind should go to blank. This is a misunderstanding of the principles of mindfulness meditation. The mind does not go to blank. If your mind went to blank, you would be like a piece of celery and we would put peanut butter on you. The mind operates on 3 levels. The first level is called discriminating mind. You walk into the room, you see a table, you see a chair, you sit in the chair. Thank you very much. The mind is able to discriminate between a table, a chair, a desk, a computer. It's able to compute the change that's needed when you purchase something. It is capable of hearing and smelling and tasting. All of the sense data that gets computed by the mind is part of discrimination. The second part of the mind we call discursive mind. The mind is going around and around with all the troubles, all the difficulties, all the concerns, the wants, and the worries that we have about life. And usually in the center of that, this discursiveness is the self, or what we hold dear. So always the mind going around and around, making a drama. We can call it the drama-rama of the mind. In Pali, we use the word papancha, or in Chinese, shi lun. Shi is sport, lun is commentary. Sports commentary. We're like on ESPN in our brain. So this calming of the mind, this particular part of the mind, is what we do in mindfulness training. We try to make this less noisy. Remember, in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, you learned about the XYZ axis. The y-axis is how noisy the mind is. The x-axis is how many thoughts we're having over time. People get too concerned about how many thoughts we're having over time. It's quieting the mind, make it less noisy that's important. The number of thoughts that we have in the mind over time, this will take care of itself. Now on the z-axis, this is whether the mind is focusing on things that are more profound and important or more trivial. I call it making the distinction between what is a principle and what is our preference. This is the 3rd activity of the mind we call discernment or wisdom, pure awareness. In this state, the mind is able to understand the basic principles of how things work. We understand that things are impermanent, for example, or that things don't always go our way, and that even taking things so personally causes trouble. The 3 I's I've mentioned before: impermanent, imperfect, impersonal. This is what happens on the z-axis as we move away from I want things to be this way or I don't want them to be that way. The preferences that we make. We learn how to let some of that go and we just understand the principles. As we get more perspective, as we move away from our difficulties, as time goes on, difficulties are less troublesome because the principles work. So this is a little bit about how the mind works, how we have this discriminating mind, this discursive mind, and we have this mind that is capable of wisdom, discerning mind. Thank you very much. I hope this is of help.